You gave my life to me, set me free, set me free. The finest years I ever lived.
So as a little guy, I was taught that he was writing the sins of the accusers out in the dust, which that's a cool theory. I don't necessarily dislike that theory, and that's what caused them to melt away. Um, there's part of me that likes that. It feels completely congruent with the character sketch of the person of Jesus we see emerging. That his response to this like pantheon of religious experts coming and demanding an answer from him, right? Moses said we should kill her. What do you say? That his response would be to draw stick figures and, an outline sketch of the mountains outside of Jerusalem. I love that. I think I like that even as I'm talking about it more than I do him writing their sins out, because like you said, I think it is him actually saying, yeah, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to play your game. And here's one of the byproducts of religiosity is that it says you need to have an answer to everything, right? At least I've picked that up somewhere along the way. That
Yeah, that's good.
you need to have an answer when somebody. So I put myself in this situation. It would have been really hard to not answer their direct question, but instead stoop down and start drawing.
Doodle in the dirt. And this
Yeah.
is, and what you're telling this is actually more important to me or more interesting to me than what it is you're trying to do.
Yeah.
When you read it, what struck me was the length of times that may have been involved here. And
Mm-hmm.
what if when they initially answer him and he gradually stoops down and starts writing in the ground, what if that's like 10 or 15 minutes
Yeah.
worth of time, totally
Yeah.
deflating, you
Yeah.
know? And then
Yeah.
eventually he stands up and says his thing, which of course is, part of me wonders if he needed time, like it was a stressful moment and he needed time to figure out an answer. But he didn't seem to have a problem with really brilliant immediate answers in other settings.
No. Yeah. No, I love our shared, Dallas Willard appreciation. I think it's in The Divine Conspiracy that Willard devotes time to just unpacking the brilliance of Jesus. Like we're comfortable with him being a kind person, but we don't
Mhm.
think of him in terms of somebody that we would go to help us solve a really difficult scientific question.
So he says his thing, and then goes back to his doodling, and they're just like their whole plan is foiled.
Yeah.
And what do we do now? And we don't know how long it takes for them to leave. Maybe it takes a half an hour. Maybe it takes 45 minutes before the last one finally leaves. And that strikes me too, is that he still has his much more important thing to do, to fiddle with the dirt. And this poor woman is watching this whole thing unfold, sitting there in the sun or whatever. Um, and talk about a PTSD moment
Mm.
where she was about to be killed, and
Mm.
and the guy that's supposed to protect her is just, they're all gone. I mean, they're
Mm.
gone, and he's still doodling in the
Mm.
dirt. It's not until after they all left that he finishes his thing, and then goes and has a one-on-one with her. It just strikes me that like the whole thing may not have all happened in 4.5 minutes.
Obviously, it's already been uncomfortable. It continues to be uncomfortable. Also, for the scribes and Pharisees, like you can feel the pivot, right? They come like fired up and thinking that they're coming for blood. And you said deflate. And then I think following deflation, they're going to start to get really uncomfortable. Right? Like this quick strike plan is not turning out to be a quick strike plan. And somewhere between, being fired up and them walking away, they start to shift in their, and start to get really uncomfortable with the situation to the point where it's okay, it's time to leave,
Yeah.
regroup. Broken systems dehumanize everybody, even the perpetrators of
Mm.
said system, right? You think about Nazi Germany as like the most egregious example in modern history of broken systems. what did it do to the Nazis, right? Like, so I love that point of, yeah, it's easy for me to vilify the scribes and the Pharisees because I don't, like religious people have hurt me and I don't like them. And yet I love that, like that, not the dehumanizing of them, but what you drew out of the fact that actually they were human and they're humans entrapped in a system that is dehumanizing even them, even though they're benefiting from it. So,
Yeah. I remember speaking of World War II, reading, have you read Corrie ten Boom's The Hiding Place?
I think a long time ago, like long time ago, teenage years, if I read it, and maybe I just saw the movie. I think maybe I just saw
Yeah.
the movie.
And I won't drag this out, but there's one of the striking things. Initially, the Corrie ten Boom goes on a speaking tour, and she's writing a book. It's initially about her sister Betsy, and not about everything else. It's not about her certainly, but her sister was a very godly, Christ-like woman. Corrie ten Boom was more of a fighter and a doer. And her sister's at one point near when she's about to finally be killed through malnutrition and illness, she's just constantly talking about how there needs to be a home for these people after the war for rehabilitation for these people. And of course, Corrie ten Boom thinks she's talking about all the prisoners, but actually she figures out that she's talking about the guards and how she feels so bad for the guards because they've completely lost their humanity. And how are they going to recover after this war is over?
Yeah.
And Betsy keeps seeing this house, and she's describing it in vivid detail. It's a greenhouse. It has really tall windows. It's a place where the guards can get their life and their humanity back again.
Yeah.
And Corey is just disgusted, like
Yeah.
screw the guards.
Yeah.
They just need to die. And then after the war, they Corey sees this house when a wealthy baroness approaches her and wants to donate her house, and it's the exact same house in vivid detail. That house becomes the place for the perpetrators to find their way back again.
I would be there just to have you back again, just to touch you once again.